Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the newest episode of the MCT podcast. I myself, Toddeh Manukian, am here with my lovely co-host for the evening, Chris Simmons. Unfortunately, Michael, whichever direction he would be in this recording, is asleep at the moment and unable to join us. We'd have him snoring on here, but that would be a little bit too loud.
God. We might have to drop some behind the scenes footage in a little blooper reel.
I think we will. We have a good episode this week. We're going to be recapping what happened in the Olympics and giving our favorite moments. We're going to talk some NFL preseason, and now that's starting up. And then lastly, we're going to go over the MLB and the terrific game they had in a cornfield in Iowa. No one goes to Iowa. What a great game. Thank you, Kevin Costner. All right, Chris.
I can't wait till we talk about that. I got numbers. I got stuff. We're good to go.
That's the juicy dessert at the end. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So recapping the Olympics, the United States in the end comes out on top with the most gold and most medals total. Sorry, China, you cannot add other countries into your tally, so you lose. You're second place. Congrats to the host nation, Japan, though, getting a total of 27 gold medals, 58 total medals. Like, that's terrific for a host nation. They should be really proud of that.
That's awesome.
Scratch off the ROC, though, Russian Olympic Committee, because, they're doping. Yeah, Chris, have you ever watched Icarus, the documentary on that?
No, but that is so, just the idea. Like, that's like some sitcom level, like, oh, we're not here, but we're here level. Like how I genuinely am asking, like, how did everybody just kind of be like, okay with that? Like, for context, I mean, yes, of course, money is everything. Well, but for context, the country of Russia, like, not one person, not a team, not a sport, like, the country of Russia was banned from this Olympics for basically countrywide doping. They were doping everybody and everything.
They've been banned for a couple of years now at this point. But
yeah, I forgot they were actually banned at the last Olympics too, at the Winter Olympics.
Well, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Icarus. Essentially, it's a documentary about a guy who's just trying to find out about cyclist doping. Turns out the guy he has as his main source about illegal doping, turns out he's the head of the Russian doping scandal. And he's just like, oh, yeah, I do this all the time for the Russians. And he's like, what? They literally had a hole in the wall so that they can switch the pee samples out for athletes to show they're not doping, to trick the system. They would have a hole in the wall. They would crawl through, switch the samples, and then crawl back out of. That's how dumb, how cartoonish their scandal was. Great documentary. It's on Netflix. Everyone should watch it. Icarus.
Oh, my God. How? How?
I don't like him in the Olympics still because they doped. Just
that's
Maria Sharapova was a doper. She was a great tennis player, but she was doping.
Well, yep. Well, that's the thing, right? So it comes out, like I said, it's a countrywide scandal, and this country gets banned from the Olympics, and then somehow they basically work out a plea bargain of like, yeah, we did it, and because we said we did it, we can come under a different banner that's not the Russian banner. But literally all they did was, instead of being the Russians, they're the Russian Olympic Committee, the ROC. They didn't change their colors. Their flag is suspiciously like the Russian flag. And they essentially, like, they couldn't play the Russian national anthem at the medal ceremonies. Yeah. But they basically just played whatever other Russian music.
It was Trotsky's Symphony number 14, 13 or one. It's one of them. But it's a lovely song. So, I mean, that's better than their national anthem. So
true. Last pitch about the ROC at least. If you want a little more context, all the context I've gotten from has been on the most recent episode of John Oliver's Last Week Tonight. He had a nice segment about the ROC and everything, and it was hilarious because obviously it's John Oliver and just
it's always
fantastic, always amazing. So anyway, so the ROC, that's a weird mark on let's be honest, on these really weird Olympics.
Like, it was a very memeable Olympics too. Like, we had a guy whose pants ripped in the Olympics.
Yep,
We had a boat false start and completely finish a race without learning that they false started and got disqualified. We had all these athletes doing Japanese anime like action moves. My favorite being the American wrestler who did the Frankie Super move from One Piece. We had people do Luffy's pose. We had Dragon Ball Z. We had Naruto poses. We had everything.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was very memeable for all these things.
Which is fantastic. I mean, when you're in Tokyo, like you think that's a lot of the reason why we saw that many, Easter eggs and whatever you want to call them like that. It's because we were in Tokyo. So of course I'm not saying, we adapt the culture and become, but you definitely pay a little homage to the country that is hosting the Olympics. It's part
we're not doing that in Australia when it happens in Brisbane. They're not going to be doing that same thing. They're going to be doing kangaroo hops, which will be so funny to do. That'll be
amazing. That'll be amazing. So genius. But yeah, they were really fun games. One of the most interesting things that I heard about it, and I wish I got the broadcaster's name because I just kind of heard it in passing. One of the few times I actually had the, an Olympic event on kind of in the background of doing something else. But I saw a clip of one of the broadcasters or post show analyst guys or whatever, who was like, talking up how well these Olympics were and how they played out and that they kept everybody safe and blah, 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 blah in the middle of a pandemic and did all this stuff, which I'm not brushing that aside. That's very important and very admirable to even get this done. And I sure hope to not hear about a lot of, COVID cases going up in the next month or so from the Olympics. That would be a really disheartening thing to hear. But for the time being, they did as good of a job as you can ask for keeping everybody safe. But the really weird thing that he said was he was like, years and years and years down the road, when you look back at the record books of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, you're not going to talk about the virus or the pandemic part of it. You're just going to be talking about how great the games were. And I was just kind of like, I feel like the pandemic is still going to be a point of conversation anytime you bring up these Olympics. It just because they go so hand in hand. The fact that the pandemic delayed the 2020 Tokyo Olympics into 2021 is never going away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that will always be there. It's like now totally off on a tangent. But it's like now my favorite mental record in the record book is that your 2020 NFC East division champions is the Washington football team forever. Exactly. It doesn't matter. They'll change their name at some point and whatever. But the 2020 division championship was won by the Washington football team. And I just love that. But yeah, it was just a really weird contextual comment, I thought. And just kind of I don't know, almost felt like, I bet it was Mike Tirico.
I bet it was Mike Tirico.
I don't think so.
That's good. Maybe it was Snoop Dogg or Kevin Hart.
There you go.
Yeah, their own show.
I still need to watch their show.
My dad watched Peacock. It was too confusing to watch half these things because there are multiple places.
That was ridiculous.
God awful. It was horrible to watch. Half these things.
How many memes and little headlines and tweets and stuff I saw about the fact that NBC paid an absorbent amount of money to have the exclusive rights for the Olympics, and then they didn't promote it worth a damn.
No,
they didn't tell anybody when stuff was on, what events was,
where to watch it. It's all tape delayed half the time. It's garbage.
Yeah, and then I wonder why the ratings and stuff was as low as we've ever seen. So
exactly,
but. Let's get into actually some of the actual Olympic events, Toddeh, because I think we had some really good moments and some really, fantastic things.
Basically, go ahead?
Can I? Holy bleeping bleepity bleep. Listen, Katie Ledecky. There was a stat that blew my ever loving mind. It may be one of the sports stats. The most mind-blowing sports stats. I still don't know if I can actually wrap my head around it.
They list God next to her name, right? Swim God.
I believe, might as well be God of swimming at least. Dude, I I think it's the 800 meter freestyle, and I apologize if I'm wrong. But in that event, the top 23 recorded times of all time, every time ever recorded in this event, the top 23 are all Katie Ledecky.
Yeah. She keeps beating her all times.
22 times.
That's
so
incredible.
just think about it. Well, think about it in the context of this, which I'm sure is not exactly how it went down to get that way. But like, this is how I try to wrap my head around it and just how mind-bogglingly insane this is. So think about the first time she set the world record, right? Boom, she's number one. Here's all these other numbers. And then she's like, cool, that's fun. We'll do it again. And then now she's got top two. And then she has three. Like, she literally set the record and then beat it 22 times. And nobody's and not only has she beat it 22 times, nobody has touched that first record that she set. So she's just out here. She's out here 1-on-0. Like, it's not even 1-on-1. She's out here just playing her own game. And everybody else is like playing. I'm
trying to think what
that
animal
point,
she would be.
Dude, like,
is
at
she
that
built
point,
like a sea otter?
It's gotta be.
You say Michael Phelps is built like an emperor penguin. Yeah.
I was like, or a penguin, or like my favorite animal, the penguins out there. But yeah, that stat just absolutely.
Maybe Piplup's her favorite Pokemon.
Or Empoleon, an actual evolved super swimmer. Just saying.
Okay, sure, she's a Vaporeon. Ooh. No, she's a Gyarados. That's even better. She's a shiny magic card.
There you go.
Her.
But yeah,
and then
how insane is that? How insane is that? I can't. Like, my mind melts just thinking about it.
What do you expect from the female? What do you expect from the Katie Ledecky? I mean,
what do you?
She's literally dripping in gold.
Yeah. So if you're Katie Ledecky, by the way, what level of confidence do you like actually exude to the other swimmers? Because like you line up for that event.
Game stuff she does.
No,
she would stare. She stares people down like before they get in the pool. She like psychologically torments them.
Listen.
That's why that one coach in Australia was like hip thrusting when they beat her for one of the races.
Listen, I wouldn't even swim. Listen, I wouldn't even swim. That shit would work so well on me. I'd be done. I would melt. I would already walk up there like knowing like, cool, I'm not winning this. I'm shooting for second. Like, my mindset would be like, I'm going for second. And then she would stare at me like that. And I'd be like, why even jump in the pool?
Yeah.
Like,
well, she got silver in one race because her rival beat her that one time, which good for the rival. Hilarious coach, memeable thing again.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, and how many, there were too many to count, which is fantastic. And it's part of, what makes the Olympics so special. I mean, how many moments did we see where, this kid from, a country of 1,000 people wins gold and the whole country is essentially in a room watching him. And you see these heartwarming, and it's just at the end of the day, in a nutshell, all factors aside, it's what sports is supposed to be about in that moment. And it's just, and it hits, it doesn't matter, if you were rooting for them or against them. And in that moment, you're just, you can't feel anything but joy watching those clips over and over. And I mean, watching parents watch their kids win gold, for the first time. And like I said, it's just, or, even just fellow countrymen and women watching, and just the pride you feel. And, it was just fantastic. And it, once again, it showed us, especially since we've had to wait an extra year for these Olympics. I still think they definitely fit up to the bill. In terms of in terms of being a solid Olympic Games with its moments and its highs and its lows and its heartbreak and its victories and everything you can ask for from a Summer Olympics. But the one we got to talk about the most, let's talk about basketball, Toddeh. We got some, dare I say, we had dominance here in the United States when it came to basketball.
Well, dominance on one side, Chris. Dominance on one side, struggle on the other.
Listen, dominance just solely in the sense of the men's won gold, the women's won gold, and then the women's won gold again in 3-on-3.
Yeah,
dominance. So, like a clean sweep dominance. Don't care how you got there. The medal's gonna look the same, right?
True.
All good.
If we compare the medals, the women's team is like,
oh.
If you threw a rock and an ant. That's how they defeated their opponents every single time.
True.
The men's team, it's like you took a stick and you attempted to roll it over the ant a couple times, but the edges got around it. So it's a struggle bus sometimes, but they still managed to kill the ant.
There you go. Exactly. The ant ends up dead in both scenarios.
The ant being Rudy Gobert. Get on it, Rudy. You're $40 million worth. You couldn't lead France. Shame.
So, yeah, I mean, and the last thing we'll say about the basketball. Well, I got two things. I know you'll want to chime in at least on the second one.
Yeah.
The men's really impressed me because you got to think about it. I mean, nobody really believed in them when they were put together because it was such a ragtag. Like, hey, oh crap, the finals are finishing up and we have to put a team together. Like, we'll just get who we can get. And then, you don't have Steph Curry, you don't have LeBron, you don't have AD.
Yeah.
You have KD, thank God, but like that's your biggest superstar. So there was a lot of question marks and you put the team together. You didn't get a dream team level of talent, it felt like. And then of course they struggled in exhibition plays. And so that just fueled the fire of, well, is this team like the bronze medal team of, 12 years ago again, and this and that. And then, to top it all off, they lose to France in the first like actual game in the knockout round. And then, all hell kind of broke loose for a minute there because everyone was like, well, the rest of the world's caught up. This is what you get when you're just trying to play flashy superstar basketball and not fundamentals and this and that. And then, give them the credit where it's due. They shut the noise out. They got in the gym. They figured it out. And then they just played ball the rest of the way. And you know what? How nice must it have been for them to go full circle and beat France in the gold medal game to secure that gold medal this year. So yeah, I know, they're happy about it. And, we've already seen Draymond Green and the likes showing off the gold medal and coming back to watch summer league games with it on. And you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Kudos to them because you're damn straight. I'd be wearing that thing for the rest of my life. Everywhere I went, I'd be in the grocery store. Oh, how you do? Oh yeah. Just gold medal, gold medal, not 22.50. Not a problem. Still a gold medal. Yeah. Whatever. It would never leave my neck. But so, shout out to them for shutting out the noise and everything. And I know it's not easy when you're losing like that and you're panicking kind of. So, and then the other one, we'll shout out Slovenia and Luka Doncic, failing to medal. But hey, fourth place, look, fourth in the world for a country that's got 2 million people. You know what? When one of them is Luka Doncic, you've got a pretty good shot at going pretty damn far. In the world of basketball, and obviously Luka's not done playing for that team, and that team will. Who knows? This will fuel that loss will fuel the fire. Finishing in fourth place, that loss will fuel the fire. I wouldn't.
It's not going to fuel my pockets, Chris. I bet on the man. I bet
I
on the team. All they had to do was win one of two games. If they lost, they would have won the second. They could win the second one. If they could have just won the first one, they've been fine. They lost by 1 against France, and then they go against the Boomers and get creamed. Chris, creamed. They got jingled.
Well, Toddeh, it's almost like when you bet, you have a chance of winning some money or losing your money. It's kind of how it works.
Is
so
it? I've been doing this wrong.
The more you know. So let's wrap up our Olympics with what was your favorite moment, Toddeh?
It's debatable. It's either going to be Canada winning gold in women's soccer because that's just an incredible moment for them, or
for sure
it's Australia winning the bronze, their first medal in Olympic basketball in like 20 tries. So awesome. It's kind of like a toss-up between those two moments for me. Because the women, they beat a good Swedish team. They beat the U.S. women's, and they beat the Swedish team. So, they just had unbelievable odds to get there and win a medal, gold for them. Because the two most important tournaments for women's soccer is the Olympics and the World Cup.
Of course.
And then for Australian basketball, it's just great for them to be on that level of the league now. Because they have so much talent in the nation that goes into the NBA. They didn't even have Ben Simmons. They didn't need his ass.
True. Well, and you've got to think not just in basketball or even soccer, in all of these Olympic events, the magnitude of medaling or even, being top 5, top 10 as a team, as a country, as a team, the magnitude of what that can do for your country the next time around is massive. For those of you who are, a little more like college football, think about it in the terms of like, it, I mean, heck, Toddeh, let's kind of compare it to Ball State football, where Ball State is the reigning MAC champions now. And so what does that do for them? Yeah, they didn't do a whole lot last year. And maybe they didn't go as far as they would have loved. They would have loved to be in the college football playoff and whatever, blah,
True.
Unrealistic, but of course that's where they would have loved their season to go. But now you can take that nugget and say, hey, look, we were the MAC champions. And then you get to take that into your recruiting sessions for next year. And now all of a sudden you can start really feeding the machine and building an actual program that's going to turn over multiple good teams instead of just catching lightning in a bottle this one time. So that's what happens on the Olympics a lot too, is think about fellow countrymen who either tried for the team, didn't try for the team, or, are unable to play. But say Australia, like you said, they get bronze. Now all of a sudden they're hungry. They know they can do it. Now other people have watched them do it, and now they're going to want more. And so it can do so much for your country, even if you're not winning golds. And that's why, final tangent, at least on the Olympics, that's why it's absolute dog bleep that there are people out there that are like, oh, they only got silver, so they failed. No, silver means you're second best in the entire world. Okay.
It sucks even you got silver instead of gold, but you still got silver. You're better than all the other countries, 200 countries.
Even if you're sixth, guess what? You're sixth in the entire world. That's amazing. That's an
one topic on this. There was a marathon runner. It was a Belgian woman, I believe. She got 28th. When she finished the race, the reporter went up to her and was like, so happy. He's like, he's like, you got 28th. And she starts bawling, crying because she was a math teacher or a history teacher. I forget. And she only just started training for the marathons for 3 years, and she got 28th. She's 28th in the world in the Olympics. She just started 3 years ago running and doing that
amazing.
As a side hobby, and she's that good. Like she was happy. She's like, I lost a toenail, but oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like she got 28th. She didn't get first. She didn't get second. She didn't get fourth, fifth, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. She got 28th. And she was bawling, crying because she was so happy about that. Because that's amazing.
Exactly.
I can't do that. I can't do marathons.
No.
My legs will break.
No. Oh, my God. My whole body would break. You're talking about legs. I couldn't even make it. Are you kidding me?
We can't do half these sports. The only sport I would actually enjoy probably, I think I could do well, is handball. I have the length for that.
You said we can't do half. That implies we can do the other half, and that's a big leap.
Chris, we can do the other half. Maybe. We'll just lose really bad.
Oh, fair. We can totally do that.
100 yard dash, 100 meter dash. God. We can do it. We're gonna lose.
Dash. It'd be like 100 meter jog, but okay.
We can do it. We're gonna lose.
Very, very badly. But yeah, right. Just that kind of ridiculousness of oh, you didn't win gold, so you failed. It's just absolutely asinine when it comes to the Olympics.
Yeah. Hey, they get their pins. They get their memorabilia to take home. They get their stories. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
yeah. They all have a very good time. Those beds
held up really nicely for them. Let's say
those extra cardboard beds. Oh my God.
That TikTok rugby player for the US was also amazing. I forget. Lisa Maurer or something.
No idea.
I forget. I follow her. Doesn't matter. She was thirsting all over the Olympics. It's like, come on, girl.
Can't blame them.
Not on TikTok.
So here we go. We'll wrap this up with a really wholesome. My favorite moment in the Olympics, because it was just so pure and so wholesome. And again, down to what I love about sports, not the business side of it, not even the competition, but just the level of raw emotion that a moment can all of a sudden have in a moment. And I am so sorry about the bat because I'm going to butcher these names, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So Gianmarco Tamberi, along with who's an Italian high jumper, along with the Qatari high jumper, Mutaz Essa Barshim, decided to share the gold medal after they both cleared 2.37 meters. So basically what that means is they both cleared 2.37 meters and then would have had to do a jump off, basically, to where one wins and one loses. They both came together and decided, screw that, let's both be winners. And so they share a gold medal now because they were able to recognize in the moment what, just how important, I don't know. It was so incredible and such a wholesome moment. And I'll ruin it here with the SpongeBob meme, but it made me think of the wrestling match with SpongeBob and Patrick, where they eventually just decided, they're like, wait, why would we keep wrestling for all of their entertainment when we don't want to? We're just yellow. we're just gonna leave as friends. And I imagine that's
when I bought them, SpongeBob.
And I imagine that's how these two walked off the high jump field, as arm in arm as friends. Instead of jumping off for everybody else's entertainment, they were able to say, no, I did what I came here to do. I proved what I need to prove. I competed, and I'm going to win a gold medal, and it's all the same. So that was my gold.
Yeah, we're good. We both get it. Why we go silver?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Logically, it makes sense too if you think about it in context of I guarantee myself a gold, or I could get silver. Why would you? No, just split the gold. It's the same. It's gold. It's fine. So that was
just what if they should have split the silver in half and the gold in half and had them merged?
Oh, that would have been amazing. You'd seen that on eBay 6 months from now.
Yeah, Brady NFTs.
Oh, you were so bad. I couldn't believe you and Michael were trying to buy those things. Ridiculous.
We'll segue this into football. Congrats, everybody. Welcome to the preseason. Let's get started. Tom Brady decides to have a new business venture for football. It's called Autograph. It's NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Basically, it's hey, here's a Pokemon card. Now it's digitized and only digitized. Guess what? This is one of a kind. I use a blockchain to prove that this is one and original out of 350 or 250 or 1 for this specific card. I'm Tom Brady. I'm going to sell these on DraftKings Marketplace. They do. You buy a card. You know what you do immediately? You put it up on the market for sale times 5 the price. People were selling $12 cards for $90. They were selling $100 cards for $500. Today was the signed ones that were $250 to buy, only $100 a piece of each. They're selling $10,000, and people are buying them. And if you have this is the number one card because they have card orders, those sold for even more. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So. It makes no sense. NBA has the same thing, but theirs are basketball in the moments. Those are cooler. Right. Tom Brady's just here's a virtual picture of my face that has an autograph on it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's stupid. I don't. But anyways, hey, Cam Newton doesn't look too bad this preseason. He only needs 1,000 yards rush, 1,000 yards passing this year to pass Steve Young, I think, on all-time passing list.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's getting there. Good for him. He's already one of the top rushers for quarterbacks.
Yeah. Oh, I figured that much.
Yeah. It's either him or Kaepernick. I forget who.
I mean, it's crazy how sports in general, by the way, obviously are so what have you done for me lately? And I don't think there's a much better example out there than Cam Newton, because people just love to forget that dude was an MVP. Dude led the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl. And the only reason he lost that Super Bowl is he played up against an all-time great defense.
Yeah.
And the only thing people love to remember about that Super Bowl is the fumble where he could have dove for it and he didn't.
Yeah.
And everyone's see, he didn't want to win. I'm
actually, I completely forgot about that fumble. All I remember is Peyton Manning throwing crappy passes into the touchdown zone. End zone.
Peyton Manning throwing ducks to his second Super Bowl title and riding off into the sunset. Thank Jeebus. But you know what? I loved it. I loved that Peyton finally got a defense good enough to carry him, because he carried God knows how many squads to farther than they ever should have gone.
Yeah. But, hey, Brock Osweiler did a great job, Chris. Never forget. The lobster's back.
I forgot about him. Anytime I think Brock Osweiler, you know what makes me smile when I think about Brock Osweiler? The fact that the Houston Texans gave him like 4 years and $90 million.
God bless him.
Oh, so good. So good. But as you mentioned, Toddeh, we are back. We are in the NFL preseason. We are about to hit. So when this episode airs, we will be in week 1 of the NFL preseason, the full week 1. We have obviously already had our Hall of Fame game, was last week, which, by the way, to me, understandably so, that there was a lot of actually Colts fans not happy with the fact that the Colts weren't in the Hall of Fame game, because because basically the Hall of Fame game, I guess generally speaking, they decide the teams sort of kind of based on that year's Hall of Fame class and what teams obviously those players were for, or, who the highest, like the highlight of the Hall of Fame class, that team usually plays.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to say the highlight of this Hall of Fame class is probably Peyton Manning. Like, my favorite tidbit about Peyton Manning and this whole Hall of Fame process, I'm sure you heard this. Do you know how long it took the committee to decide to unanimously vote?
3 more fingers.
Peyton? Yep. It took the committee 13 seconds to say, yep, Peyton Manning is a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer.
They probably just went in a circle and said, yep.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that 13 seconds was exactly was everybody
13
just
seconds
actually,
to say his name and career standings.
Yeah, to go through the little, all right, here's what he did. 97-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl, like all of these things. So that probably took up 10 seconds. And then everybody else was like, yes. Yeah. Well, and then there was like the phone call when they had to, like, when they were sort of pitching who's going to be in this Hall of Fame class, or like what it was like, why do they deserve, like, what, like when he was just a finalist, people from, I think it was like in like Indiana, like sports writers, some of them like Mike Chappell and whoever had to call the committee and, pitch their case as to why they should consider said player. Well, so whoever it was called the committee about Peyton Manning, literally called, bring, the committee picks up, this is the committee to decide the Hall of Fame. And they said, yeah, he's Peyton Manning. Like, that's hilarious. There's just, you can't argue. So anyway, my whole tangent point, you kind of pick the teams based on the highlight of the class. They're probably, logically speaking, the highlight of this class is Peyton Manning, even if it's not Peyton Manning.
I got my Peyton Manning forehead here for.
There you go. Even if it's not Peyton Manning, it's like Edgerrin James is next, and guess what? So like Peyton and Edgerrin and Marvin's there, and and Tony Dungy was there. Like, I mean, yeah. So you just had a whole Colts reunion. So they're like, why didn't the Colts play in the Hall of Fame game?
I mean, remember what happened last time we were supposed to play in the Hall of Fame game?
Yes and no. Something I remember. Didn't it get postponed?
Made the field hard, Chris.
That's right.
They put too much paint on the field, and it was basically like playing on concrete.
Which is, I mean, that's a perfect segue into what the Colts have apparently been playing on this preseason, because we have 93 different foot injuries already in this preseason on the Colts, not just across the league, like here in Indianapolis. So it was funny last week at work, Michael, I wish he was here, even if it was just for this bit. Michael was like, we were talking randomly about, the preseason and stuff, and another injury had come up or whatever. And he was like, Michael was like, man, we need to pay these Colts team doctors a lot more because they're dealing with a lot of stuff. And I just looked at him and was like, no, we need to pay them less because obviously they're not preventing this stuff that like these wacky injuries. Like they're doing a terrible job of keeping our guys healthy.
I
What do
mean,
you
we
mean
traded
pay
for
them
damaged
more?
goods anyway, so.
Oh my God. Yeah. You've been just waiting for this. Jeez.
Chris, I didn't need to wait for it when I knew it was going to happen. What's there to wait for when we knew?
I will say, I am.
My legs are made of glass. My arms are made of glass. My chest ribs are made of glass.
See, here's why I wanted this in the middle of the show, because I knew this is the thing that you and I were gonna differ on. And you know what? And I will fully admit that maybe I am being too optimistic. I can admit that it's absolutely possible. But like, I'm not concerned. I'm not fully concerned. Why are your lights flashing?
Because I have a lamp right here, and I'm hitting it enough so that it rocks it, and then it gives me this special effect.
Yeah, you know who doesn't need special effects and extra things to make his point? This guy. You just got me in front of a camera explaining to you logically what I'm talking about. So here's the deal. I'm not overly concerned with the Carson Wentz. Yeah, we're just gonna block that out. With the Carson Wentz foot injury. Now, I'll get to it. Don't worry. Don't lose your heads with me just yet, because there's definitely cause for concern in there.
You've lost the entire fan base, Chris. They're done. They hate you.
But overly, I'm not as concerned as some people because of a handful of things. One, and the most important thing in my mind, is the man who just got an extension through 2026, Chris Ballard. I know he's already been through a lot in his Colts tenure, but he has said from day one, he wants to build a full roster that isn't reliant on having a superstar quarterback drag a lesser team to the playoffs and beyond. He is built. So now we've given him a few years, and he has hit draft pick after draft pick, diamond in the rough after diamond in the rough. And honestly, we'll get to it. It looks like he might have found another one already this year. So, you know, he's done such a good job building this entire roster that it really, really does, Toddeh, lessen the blow of potentially losing your quarterback for set amount of time. It really does. They have such a good team around the quarterback spot that it helps out so much. Dude, I mean, okay, maybe they won't win as many games, sure. But, like, I could go quarterback this team right now because I can take the handoff behind Ryan Kelly and Quentin Nelson, turn this direction and say, Jonathan Taylor, take this football and run. And
you're not wrong.
And boom. So, I mean, and there, like I said, there's, you know, they have talent now all over the place, especially defensively, which is just so much fun to watch. They've had joint practices the last 2 days with the Carolina Panthers, and that defense, they are ready. Like, that A defense of the Indianapolis Colts, y'all better not sleep on any part of it because they're ready to go. They've got a lot of talent, a lot of speed, a lot of quickness to them.
I'm going to sleep on it, Chris.
You do that, man.
No, Justin Houston. This is ridiculous. How are we going to be good this year?
You're going to be sleeping with the fishes.
DeForest Buckner is too young. He can't be on this team. Darius Leonard is QB money. Is he going to throw the ball too? He might. If he catches it, he can always lateral it when he catches an interception.
There you go. But in all seriousness, I know everybody wants, especially when it comes to the Colts, and this is where I said there is that cause for concern when it comes to Carson Wentz's foot injury. Because what really does annoy me, Toddeh, and here's where you can agree with me on this segment, so get ready.
No.
What really grinds my gears, drives me crazy, blows my mind, doesn't make any sense, is the fact that, like, not only do the Colts have now officially a history of quarterback injuries. It's a matter of fact, it just is. They've got that history of quarterback injuries, but every single time it seems to be this wacky, we don't know what the heck it is. No one's ever done this to their body before. It's just crazy. We don't know how to fix it. We might as well play operation and just hope and pray because we don't know what to do. Like, I'm so tired of this, like this shady talking like, oh, he's fine, but he's not really fine. We don't know the extent, so we're not worried, but he might have surgery. Okay, he's definitely not going to have surgery. Just kidding. He had surgery this morning. So, I mean, it's tiresome and long, and just, tell me what the injury is. Tell me what happened. Tell me the time frame, and hopefully, as long as there's no setbacks, stick to that, and then you're fine. But it just, for whatever reason or another, the Colts never seem to be able to do that, especially when it comes to their quarterbacks. You can go back as far as Peyton Manning. I mean, obviously, that whole season where his neck hurt, was shattered and broken, but he's fine, but he might play. Okay, never mind. He's out for the season, like out of nowhere, and then look, obviously he goes on to play 4 more years in Denver. So clearly he could play. So, I mean,
3-ish. 3.5.
So I thought it was 4.
Yeah, I know, but like his 4th one was crap.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
His 4th one was his singing song. Bye-bye.
The one that I give the Colts and this new regime, the Chris Ballard, Frank Reich regime, a pass on is Andrew Luck, because obviously by the time they got here, yeah, he had a whole bunch of, I'm not surprised he had mystery injuries, because he probably had 50 different injuries that never got reported because he got hit 7 times more than anybody has ever been hit on an NFL field.
Yeah.
So fine. But then like Jacoby Brissett goes down 2 years ago in Pittsburgh. And again, it kind of came to like, we don't really know where his timeline is. And we're not going to say he's done for the year, but he isn't going to play the rest of the year. But, I mean, like, it was so weird. And then sure enough, right in their textbook, Carson Wentz goes down all of a sudden, and you don't really hear anything the rest of that day. And then kind of late at night, you're like, oh, by the way, it was a legit foot injury. He's not practicing and we don't know what's going on. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, everything just kind of goes haywire again. And then it comes out, oh, he's not going to have surgery. He's going to try to rest it and push through it, and just to see and then decide. And then literally like 12 hours after that news nugget came out, they were like, cool, he's scheduled for surgery in the morning and he's going to have surgery. And so like, it's like everybody just needs to get on the same page and just stick with it. And then, you'll have a plan and you'll be okay. But that's the only part of this. I just feel like they're dropping the ball, because I'm like, it can't always be this mystery injury. Like the odds of it just always happening like that to this one franchise in this one position.
It's almost like our doctors aren't good.
Exactly. So I don't know. That's the biggest part that bugs me, is just this whole mystery injury. Nothing is ever just a straightforward, like, hey, he's got an ankle sprain, he'll be out 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. That's fine. We'll move on. No, it's always mystery foot injury, could be out 5 to 12 weeks, may or may not need surgery. What? That's nothing. So, and then, of course, Quentin Nelson has the same injury, and they're basically like, oh, yep, it's fine. Yep, he's good. Yeah. He's going to have the surgery. He'll be back in 5 weeks because he's a monster. So it's fine. But that's the part that irks me. I'm not overly concerned with Wentz missing some time. First off, also, let's be honest. If you look at the first couple of games in the season anyway, they're not going to be easy to win, regardless, with or without Wentz at 100%. You've got Seattle at home, which is, thank God we're playing them at home and not in Seattle. But yeah, Seattle at home, and then the Rams week 2. Like, that's tough right off the jump. So, yeah, would you love to have Carson Wentz 100% in there, ready to go for those 2 games after a nice full preseason? Sure, of course.
Yeah.
But if he's going to miss some games, fine. Get hurt first week of training camp. And yeah, guess what? Guess what, guys? You may hate it, but if your quarterback or any of your star players get hurt early on in training camp, guess what any team across the league is going to do? Shut that bleep down for training camp, because especially if he's a veteran player, they don't need those reps. Yeah. Not nearly as much. They don't need those reps. They don't need preseason games. So yeah, if he's got kind of a hyperextended knee or some kind of tweak, shut him down. make sure they're ready to go week 1.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a chance that's what the Colts were doing sort of all along, where they're like, look, we don't really know what this is. We're gonna pull you off the field. You're gonna go get this surgery just to clean it up, make sure there's no extra damage to it. Mm-hmm. We're just gonna take these precautions. And you have to also logically think that the Colts, right now, with their recent history of quarterback injuries, that they're going to take everything to the over extreme, because they're like, well, we don't want to not find some, we don't want something to be lingering in there that we don't find until it's too late to do anything about it for the season. So I'm just, and again, maybe it is me being too optimistic about all the other factors. I'm just not overly worried about it. I think he'll be back 100% at a reasonable time. I don't think he's going to miss I don't think he's going to be out 12 weeks and miss half the season. I think he'll be back well before that. And this team is built good enough to an average quarterback can do a good job with this team. Maybe not win every single game, but they'll do a good enough job. And I still I love every piece of this team. I think we're finally seeing what Chris Ballard envisioned 5 years ago when he took over one of the worst rosters in football. And it's a lot of fun.
I mean, not as complete vision, at least, because, QB.
Need a quarterback. Yeah, need a quarterback is going to be around for more than 1 or 2 years. I got you.
Mitch Trubisky.
I know you may not
got it.
I know you may not like it, Toddeh, but that dude is going to be Carson Wentz. They both have stuck their necks out for this dude.
It's going to be Carson Wentz if he takes less than $25 million a year.
Sure.
I'll be happy with it then. I'll be happy with a cheaper quarterback like that.
Yeah. So, all right, Toddeh, there you go. I'll give you the floor. Talk about. I'm sure you have something to say about Carson Wentz. So, So on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of panicking about the Carson Wentz injury in the Colts season, I'm at about a 4. So where are you at?
Well, Chris, let me talk to you here. I should actually tie this like a real tie. Well, Chris, let me talk to you here about it.
Okay. I'm listening.
I'm thinking this is a good thing. I think Carson Wentz needs to be out at least 25% of the season. We'll take a couple L's, but you know what? I did this wrong.
Oh, my God. I couldn't tell you the last time I tied a real tie from scratch like that, so it's all good.
There we go. Wait, you don't know how to tie ties, Chris?
I knew at some point, but I haven't done it in 5+ years.
This is too short, but it doesn't matter. It's for the skit. You know what, Chris? Let me tell you here, bud. These Colts have an issue with Carson Wentz. They need him not to play 25% of the snaps so we keep our first-round pick. When that happens, I'll be happy to have him come back as QB leader. But until then, keep him off the field.
But you also know, regardless of how many snaps he plays, if the Colts make the playoffs, they lose that pick.
Never mind then. He can play all season. Just kidding. I need him healthy.
Yeah, because it's one or the other. It's if he plays 75% or more of the season, or the Colts make the playoffs, we lose.
How good is the QB class next year? We should just tank this year.
I mean, of course, there are people that legitimately want the Colts to tank this year, and I'm just like, you can't.
Frank Reich and Chris Ballard are long term now.
But trust me, listen to me. As a fan of a team in a different sport in baseball who is actively tanking, is not fun. You don't want that, even if you think you do.
You guys got rid of your pitcher saying he wasn't good when you already got rid of half the team. We'll talk about that in the next segment while I make fun of you.
That's fine. We'll get there. So what level of panic are you legitimately at for this upcoming Colts season?
I'm at a 6. I'm not panicking too much, only because my expectations aren't high.
I got you. Okay.
It's not no, we're screwed time. It's like, if he comes back, we'll be fine. If not, oh well.
Yeah.
We can trade for QB.
Call me overly optimistic, call me crazy, whatever you want. I legitimately think they're an AFC contender. I think they're a Super Bowl contender when they're healthy. If
When
Carson
healthy,
Wentz,
yeah, I'll give you that. When healthy, yeah.
listen,
But
for real, if Carson Wentz is even half of what he was the last time he worked with Frank Reich, this team is scary. This team is special. I'm telling you, this team is going to surprise a lot of people. This
the
team might be the
Browns,
Phoenix.
Chris. It's the
Toddeh,
Browns year.
Toddeh, this team might be the Phoenix Suns of the NFL.
That's not a good thing, Chris. That means we'll lose.
No. See, they won. No, see, they won the first 2 games of the finals, and in football, you only need to win 1.
So that means we're going to win the first 2 quarters and then lose the next 2. So we're going to be the Atlanta Falcons, Chris. Do you want to be the Atlanta Falcons?
Don't you put that on me. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you do it. So, all right. Well, let's talk some positive things about the Colts preseason and training camp so far. How about that, Toddeh? Because there have been a lot of positives.
The cheerleaders are good at catching the football.
You know what? That's actually going to be a decent little segue into the player I want to highlight so far, who has had the training camp that he's needed to have to really get some eyes on him. That is that big rookie wide receiver, Michael Strahan, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry if I butchered that one. Michael Strahan, who might be this year's Chris Ballard diamond in the rough find, because he's a 6th rounder. And I don't know if y'all saw that clip yesterday of him taking a top 10 pick, taking him to school twice. So they did one, Toddeh, basically, if you haven't seen the clip, they did 1-on-1 drills, wide receiver, cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
So Carolina, their first round pick, their number 8 is cornerback. Oh, crap. I can't remember his name. Hold on. Yeah, that's his name. Okay, yeah, with the 8th overall pick, J.C. Horn, the cornerback out of South Carolina. Anyway, consensus top 10 pick. He went number 8 overall. So joint practice, Carolina and Indianapolis yesterday. That pick, that first round pick, top 10 pick, was matched up against our 6th rounder, Michael Strahan. And dude, just flat out burned him twice, back to back. The first one he definitely pushed off, probably would have been called in-game OPI. But anyway, made 2 really good plays. But honestly, he's made play after play after play. At least one play. He's gotten one highlight, it seems like a day, every day so far in camp. He's got one-handed catches. He's going up and winning 50-50 balls. And Toddeh, he is basically kind of being lauded as like that prototypical wide receiver that the Colts have always kind of tried to find, that just big, tall receiver to go up and get the ball and win those 50-50 balls. Mm-hmm. And they may have lucked and found one deep in the draft here in the 6th round with Michael Strahan. He has just put on an absolute clinic so far, and he's just done a fantastic job. So again, it looks like Ballard might have done it again, this time in the way late rounds. So we'll definitely keep an eye on him. But yeah, I mean, and then, I saw a couple exciting tweets today that were like, the two Colts who have had the best camp so far and have just looked the best. Any guesses, Toddeh? Any guesses on one offensive player or one defensive player?
Jacob Eason. Marlon Mack.
Nope. Getting closer, though.
Jonathan Taylor.
There it is. Yeah,
Michael Pittman Jr.
He's looked really good.
I was about to say, I've seen some stuff for him. He's looking great.
He's looked ready for year 2, by the way. Y'all might not want to sleep on that kid.
And his wife is funny on TikTok.
I think you have showed me at least one from her. Yeah. So yes.
She made him get one. He doesn't do anything with it.
That's a bonus. There you go. That's a bonus in Toddeh's world.
And then defense, Rock Ya-Sin.
Not quite. Again, you're close. Not quite.
Kenny Moore,
baby. Kenny Moore, dude, shut down corner. I love Kenny Moore. Love me some Kenny Moore. I need more Kenny Moore, always. That dude is so much fun. Toddeh, he's basically like Lance Stevenson out here on the football field, except he's good. Like,
and he doesn't push women downstairs.
Nailed it. But yeah, so anyway, I've seen tweets that were like the two players that have had like the best camp and just looked ready to, look the best have been Jonathan Taylor and Kenny Moore. And think about the fact, if that's true in the regular season, again, like that's insane. That team just takes another step. It's what we kind of talked about when we first started this podcast, and we talked about when the Colts lost that playoff game to the Bills. And like, yeah, it hurt in that moment. Like, it sucks obviously it always sucks to have your season end on a loss. Don't care how it happens. Doesn't matter. It sucks. It hurts. It's not fun. You feel like you wasted a season, but then the next day, you take a look back and you start thinking about things. And we did it off the air before we even started the podcast. And then we did it on the podcast. We were like, look, man, the fact that they were even in that game with arguably the second best team in the AFC on their home turf, and like should have won that game if we didn't make some mental mistakes and have some just, bad luck kind of balls and 50-50 balls that didn't go our way, and balls that went Buffalo's way because they were the better team and they were prepared, things like that. I mean, there was a couple of things to clean up, but the really bright spot, and we talked about it again, was the fact that who were the big key players in that playoff game? It was the rookies. It was Michael Pittman Jr.
Buffalo, and
it was Jonathan Taylor. And so you start getting super excited thinking about like, man, now they're going to get now they've had a whole season of experience behind them. Now they're going to get what an off season looks like as a professional football player. They're going to get a preseason. They're going to get training camp. They're going to be
something they didn't get last year.
Exactly. They're going to be so ready for this year. And again, those two specifically that we've talked about, Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, seem to have been taking advantage of every opportunity so far early on in the preseason to be out there and putting in the work and getting better and better and better. Again, I saw tweets from beat reporters and people that were there at the joint practices with the Panthers. And you know what they were saying about Michael Pittman, Toddeh, that really just had me beaming? They were like, this cat is walking around here with the swagger like a wide receiver number one, and he's out here talking ish to Carolina and back, and then they're like, he's backing it up, making catches, making tough plays. He is out here like running like a wide receiver number one. And that just got me excited because, again, talk about the prototypical number one wide receiver. I love T.Y. Hilton. Will forever love T.Y. Hilton. That man is just
T.Y. Hilton's a wide receiver, right? Number 3 at this point, Chris.
At this point, yes. But I'm saying, even in his prime, he wasn't a one, and because of his size, or other people never looked at him as a number one wide receiver because of his size.
Reggie. That's why. We had Reggie.
That's also why. Yeah. That's also, exactly. That's also
we had a Hall of Fame wide receiver ahead of him.
Yep. How dare T.Y. be behind that guy?
Even though T.Y. is also a candidate for, a Hall of Fame wide receiver if he wasn't injured all the time.
I mean, he's putting up career numbers, and not just, like Colts franchise records. He's getting up there, but I mean, you start looking at NFL all-time wide receivers, he's a lot higher up than I think the average fan would think he is.
Yeah, average fans think he's lower, but like he was like number one for a couple years in total receiving yards.
Well, exactly. He's led the league in receiving yards before. And you know what? He's probably going to hit 10,000 yards this season.
It's like how fans think Michael Thomas isn't as good as he is anymore because he doesn't play.
Yep.
But, get him off the Saints and he'll be fine.
It's true. But it's what have you done for me lately, Toddeh? It's like we said it's what have you done for me lately? But, so if Michael Pittman is taking the step to like become the actual number one wide receiver, you've still got T.Y. there in the slot where that's where he belongs. And I mean, like I said, if you just start looking at what this team is doing and piecing it together, you can't help but get excited. I know the quarterback position obviously still has its question mark about health and what Wentz is actually going to look like even at 100%. What are we got? Which Wentz are we going to get? We don't know. But the good news is this is not that team that we were so used to watching Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck drag the Samson Satellis of the world to the playoffs. This is now a team that's set up for, hey, we're not going to throw the ball 45 times.
Samson Satelli's name again.
I know.
Him and his braid
it hurt
in the back of his head.
It hurt, dude. I know. It hurt me to do it, I promise. But this team is not designed to pass the ball 40 plus times a game, regardless of who the quarterback is.
True.
Like, this team is built to run the damn ball. And especially now with adding Marlon Mack back, I've talked about it. I just gush over this running back room that the Colts have this year. I know there's other running back rooms that are just as good, if not better.
Would you say is a rolling ball of butcher knives? Big rolling ball of butcher knives.
I wouldn't. But
wow,
if you're looking,
you hate Chuck Pagano, Chris? Is that it?
But if you're looking at the depth chart of the running backs for the Indianapolis Colts, if you don't get excited thinking about Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack coming back after his ACL injury, and then Nyheim Hines being that number 3 kind of catchback, I mean, that running back room, I will take those
Solid.
3. Listen to me, I'm serious too. I will take those 3 over any other running back room right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really
I can't name any other team with 2 solid running backs like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, cool. Sure, have Derrick Henry. Who's their backup?
Exactly, but you're going to run Derrick Henry into the ground, and that's why. And that's what I was talking about earlier when, a few episodes ago when the Colts signed Marlon Mack back, and there were people that were like, "Why would we pay him? We have Jonathan Taylor." I'm like, you don't understand. It's to help Jonathan Taylor. It's to help take the load off of them. Because think about the fact that you can now split the carries between Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack. So Jonathan Taylor is only going to get 20 to 25 carries a game at most, and Marlon Mack's going to get probably 10 to 15. And that's amazing. To be able to do that is incredible. It's going to save Jonathan Taylor's massive legs down the road as the season wears on. So, I mean, I still, even with the Carson Wentz injury and, the Quentin Nelson injury, like I don't know if I've been more excited coming into a Colts season than this season, feeling like this is a legit team that has a legit shot to do some damage and go pretty damn far.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, no, I'm not sitting here saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, and anything less than that's a failure. But what I am saying is I think this team is a very solid 12-plus win team that is going to be a tough out in the playoffs, whether it's as a division winner or a wild card team. You're not going to want to see the Colts in the playoffs if they are the team that I think they are. So, I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Cat.
All right, let's pivot from the Colts.
What other it's like what other teams, what else have we seen around the league in the preseason, Toddeh?
I mean, we already talked about Cam Newton a little bit in the Patriots. Mac Jones did pretty well in his opening as well. He's been getting tips from Cam, so that's good. Browns are looking good still. I mean, they made additions in the offseason, and everyone's healthy. No one's hurt in camp right now.
I think that team is the clear, in my opinion. I think it's them or Baltimore, but I think they're the clear favorites to win the North right now.
Yeah.
I don't see Pittsburgh
just made a trade with the Jaguars earlier today also to get a new linebacker, but
not Tim Tebow. No. They didn't trade for Tim Tebow.
No, Tim Tebow's not cut yet.
I know, but I saw something when they said he's on the bottom of the depth chart. Shocker. Who would have thunk it?
No, poor guy. He could have been on the bottom of the depth chart for years everywhere else. He could have been playing for the minor league team that could be in the Field of Dreams.
Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, we'll know a lot, not really a lot more, but we'll know a little bit more after this first week of preseason games, play out. and obviously, take everything that you're going to see over the next 4 weeks or so with a grain of salt, good or bad. I mean, countless times we've seen guys, show out in preseason, and you think they're going to be these big stars, and then it just doesn't translate, and they don't, they kind of go away. But yeah, I mean, obviously the preseason's fun. It's the most important thing is health. Is obviously you don't want anybody to get hurt in the preseason. So, and you guys know, I mean, we'll only see, I think even, for the Colts, who are splitting quarterback duties right now between Jacob Eason and Sam. How do you pronounce his last name? Elsinger?
No idea.
Perfect. So they're, the rookie, was he a 4th rounder out of Texas? Sam Elsinger, they're splitting the quarterback duties right now. I think that I saw that for this week against Carolina, basically expect to see Eason for about a quarter and a half or so. And then week 2, it'll be Elsinger we'll see for about a quarter and a half. So equal playing time for both of them for these first couple of preseason games. So it'll be a good chance. I'm excited to see both of them really get a decent shot and see kind of what they have. I think I'm more intrigued to actually see what Jacob Eason has, because there are people already ready to write him off, but he's never had a chance to be a quarterback for the Colts so far. He hasn't had any preseason experience.
He's got an arm and 2 legs, Chris.
Yes, but he has still yet to take a professional snap as a quarterback for the Colts, and people are already ready to just completely write him off and cut him. And so I'm a little more intrigued personally to see what Jacob Eason's got. I mean, but Elsinger also.
So we're cutting Carson Wentz.
No, that would make you so happy, but no, we're not doing that.
Rookie contract for a 2nd rounder pick or Carson Wentz's contract.
What else we got? Hey, up in Green Bay, the drama seems to kind of be done because we got Rodgers back,
and they signed Randall Cobb to make him happy.
They did. Did you see that little press conference where they were like, "Yeah, we would not have done this move if Rodgers didn't basically tell us to go and get him."
And he's not wrong. He should have more input on all the things the team does. Why wasn't he ready? He's their star QB. He's the best in the league.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's not that every superstar on every team should be in every decision of the front office. But if you're going to make an exception, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a dude I want to listen to and make happy. Whoa, I must be an idiot. No. Yeah. It's, again, Toddeh, to bring it to another sport in the NBA, it's like going to LeBron and asking him who he wants to play with and then going out and getting that dude.
Exactly. Hey, Aaron Rodgers should be happy, though. He has another ring, so. So it's all good.
I mean, my favorite thing about Randall Cobb coming back to Green Bay, well, okay, not my favorite thing, because I love it anyway. I love Randall Cobb coming back to Green Bay. That's just amazing.
Because he's an hour away from Aaron Rodgers now. There's a murder in Chris's home now. Unfortunately, this is not good for him.
I think it's just a dumbass cat.
Chris, watch your language. That poor cat's now scarred for life.
Yeah,
because of this harassment.
He deserves it. But no, when Randall Cobb got traded, there was a couple of quotes and stuff going around it. He talked about being in Houston and going to Green Bay. And he was what did he say? He said that Houston's being run like a startup company, and Green Bay is a Fortune 500 company. So he's yeah, I'm excited to go to Green Bay, to say the least. I was like, yes, burn the bridge to Houston. Let's go. But yeah, Rodgers is happy. He's looked good. I've seen a couple of highlights of his already. I mean, he did one of those deep ball passes right into a net, and it, perfect. So of course, he's looking good. Justin Fields has looked solid for Chicago. I know Bears fans are excited to see him in some kind of preseason
To
action.
see Andy Dalton. Got it.
There you go. Well, they paid him $10 million to be the starter. So
how much they paying Foles? 20 mil?
Good question. I really don't know.
I think it's
something
20
like
mil
that.
from his Jags deal.
Yeah, I forgot about the Jags deal. Yeah. No, Jacksonville's not paying that, right?
No, the Bears are.
Okay. So the Bears
So
are
they're
paying
spending $35 million on quarterbacks. Wait, how much do rookies make?
I mean,
Nowadays,
not that much. Not that much.
I feel like top dollar rookies still get a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, he might. Who knows? I haven't heard. Have you heard any? I haven't yet to hear really much of anything on Trevor Lawrence, how he's looked in Jacksonville. I haven't really
No,
seen
nothing. I just know that
which
Urban Meyer said, "Oh, it's still QB competition between him and Minshew."
I doubt it. Yeah, there's no way.
If it's a competition, why did you pick Trevor Lawrence then?
Right. If you thought there was a chance that Minshew was going to be your guy and your starter, you don't take Lawrence then.
Yeah, unless you want to trade him for like $1 bazillion.
Jeez, that would be.
I can't even
imagine what package Trevor Lawrence would get right now.
I trade him Darius Leonard.
Oh my God!
I would trade Darius Leonard for Trevor Lawrence.
Stop it.
I'd trade Darius Leonard. I'd trade 2 firsts and throw in Marlon Mack.
I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't do it.
No, they probably have to match salaries, so it'll probably just be Trevor Lawrence, some scrub on Jacksonville, and then Darius Leonard and 2 firsts.
I just couldn't do it, man. Couldn't do it.
For Trevor Lawrence and that glowing hair of his, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I do love that long hair of his.
It's beautiful.
It is. We'll see. The Cardinals made some moves, obviously, this offseason, adding J.J. Watt, adding A.J. Green. Are they trying to be Toddeh, are they trying to be the LA Lakers? Are they trying to just add all these old dudes that
no, because players want to leave there. That's why I say, oh, I'm not getting a playing time now. And did they lose in the preseason already? They played today.
They're playing right now, actually. Or they were.
It's 16-16. 1 minute, 51 seconds left. Dallas has the ball.
Oh, gosh.
You're going to lose to Dallas.
Yikes. It's terrifying.
Whose QBs are people, I don't even know their name. I don't even know those people. Colt McCoy is one of your backups.
Yikes.
He's been sacked 3 times already. What a great backup line you guys have.
That's a name. Let's see. Anything else preseason wise? I mean, I know it's kind of tough to really put a lot of stake into anything that's going on right now. Outside,
not much. Since only the games just started.
Bills are looking fire. Into week 1. Let's be honest. I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm just excited to have football back, especially with. I mean, for me personally, with basketball being done, which was an amazing season. We've talked enough about that. We know how much fun that whole season was. With basketball being done, baseball being done for me, essentially, it makes football even more. It makes football even more exciting. Which, like I said, I was already excited for football because I really think this is going to be a fun, special Colts season. I really, really do. And so with baseball ending early for me and basketball being done, I'm just excited to continue to have something sports wise to look forward to. So, but we're right in that weird twilight part of it where I'm like, oh, football's back. I'm excited. Yeah, let's do it. And we're like, oh, we're still 5 weeks away from meaningful play. And I'm like, so we will see.
Yeah.
We will definitely see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to start talking football again. And I know Michael's going to be excited to talk football.
Yeah.
For the next 20 weeks. So it'll be a good time.
Oh yeah.
It will be a good time. All right. Let us get to our third and final topic of the evening. And that is, we're going to keep it real brief. Just a nice little MLB update. And the big thing we want to talk about is let's, for a moment, put everything else aside, and let's give credit. Perfect. We'll take Bikini Bottom and move it over here. So we're gonna put everything that is wrong with baseball aside for a moment and give credit where it's due, and take a moment to. I'm gonna applaud Major League Baseball and everybody that took a part in putting together that Field of Dreams game, because oh my God, that may have honestly been the most beautiful baseball game I've ever seen in my life. Like that game I want you to understand, that game gave me chills similar, not to the same level, but similar to the 2016 Cubs like playoff run. Like, no, not Game 7 winning the World Series, but definitely like as that like this Field of Dreams game was just so pure and so just beautiful and so well done and well handled. And just, I mean, every single thing they did about it, they nailed. Every little detail, just even the simple fact that like they got Kevin Costner to come out to the field and walk through the cornfield and onto the field. Like if seeing that doesn't give you goosebumps, then like you're not alive. Like you're not living. You're not experiencing that moment. Then you're not comprehending it, because like that was just special. And then watching the players in the throwback uniforms that looked so good.
The Sox ones look good. The Yankees ones kind of look just like regular Yankees uniforms.
I mean, that's true, because the Yankees have hardly ever changed their damn uniform, ever. Basically, they've had white uniforms, black uniforms, pinstripes. 100+ years. There you go. So, yeah, the White Sox jerseys were phenomenal. Wonderfully done. And then, watching them come out of the corn was just so cool. Watching home runs just get lost in the cornfield. Incredible.
Which fans could probably have gone up and picked them up, because there's the walkway right behind that cornfield.
Yeah.
That goes to the corn maze.
I'm sure those balls like aren't still there. I'm sure somebody's found them. If not now, they will when they harvest the corn. Like they'll ruin the ball, I'm sure, but they'll find it.
Are they going to plant soybeans in that cornfield next year then, so it's not going to be as cool?
Maybe.
Like honest, they can't keep putting corn. It's going to ruin the soil.
Yep.
So
Yep. So I just, like I said, I just want to take a moment to like legitimately and sincerely congratulate everybody who made that game possible and put it together and did what they had, because it was executed flawlessly.
Except the commissioner.
Sure. It was 100% perfect, down to every detail. Gave myself and every baseball fan around the world just goosebumps, and then they also, obviously lucked out with the game itself being an incredibly well played and competitive game. It wouldn't, you can't blame, I wouldn't have blamed, the commissioner and the planners and people like that put it together if it was like a 10-0 blowout. Either way, that's not their fault.
Fox's cameras were on point.
So, but yeah, you have as exciting of a game as we've seen all season play out in the Field of Dreams in this little cornfield in Iowa. And it was just so amazing. In a town with a population of just over 7,000 people, we had like 3 times that, in the stands. Watching
the stands was 7,641.
Okay. Maybe I assume they had some standing room or something then, because I saw that they maybe twice, maybe just double the town population was there.
Yeah, it's probably double the town population.
Well, I think they were also counting all of I don't think they were just counting fans. I think they were just counting people there. So they're counting cameramen and broadcasters and staff and all those people. That
I know for stadium it was that much though, because that's about how much the tin caps is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Actually, tin caps is like 10,600 the max, I think.
That's pretty big. It's actually pretty big for a minor league ball. That's cool. I still need to get up there and get to a game.
Shame on you. You haven't done it yet.
I know. But it's like an hour drive. Okay.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. But yeah, it was just so perfect. Do I wish it was the Cubs and the Cardinals and the Cubs winning with Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, and Anthony Rizzo hitting home runs into the corn? You bet your ass I do. But I will take it for what it was, and it was absolutely beautiful. To culminate with 2 ninth-inning home runs in the top of the inning for the Yankees to take the lead and look like they're going to steal it and win, just to have Tim Anderson, hit a walk-off 2-run bomb into the right field cornfield, and perfectly with him with a nice bat drop and high levels of emotion. It was just everything that MLB could have scripted for that night is exactly how it played out. So just again, congrats to them for that. But what's been fun ever since that game happened, what's been fun is being like, okay, cool. We've done that. We've done the Field of Dreams game now. What's next? What next iconic movie or whatever can we implement? And man, I've seen some cool ones, and ones where I'm like, I again would have shivers and chills and like everything.
You're not thinking big enough, Chris. In-season tournament using the Field of Dreams.
No.
For crosstown rivalries.
No.
Yes.
No.
The marketing. It'd be like everyone says it's the answer to the Winter Classics for the NHL.
Yeah. Now I will
in-season tournament though.
Now I will say what they should have done, or maybe will do in the future with these, with these whatever you want to call them kind of games. It needs to be a series, so not just one game. Give me a 3-game series like you play everything else.
No. It's got to be one-off tournament. Series takes away from the magical moment.
Except you understand, like that's how baseball is played, though. Baseball is played in series.
Yeah, so do an in-season 1-game elimination tournament.
Anyway.
No. And then you win a giant statue with like corn.
Save that for basketball where they're doing all this funky stuff. But I've seen some awesome suggestions already, Toddeh. You ready? I've seen people like, cool, next year we need to play the Sandlot game. We need to be out in a Sandlot field. And I was like, oh my God.
They already play that for the A's.
But no, like a legit Sandlot replicated field would be incredible. And I'm just thinking like watching like Javi Baez like play with his with his level of energy in the Sandlot field would be amazing.
Beach ball,
and then
baseball.
And then the other one that I saw that was really cool and obviously extra cool to me because it would actually involve my Cubs, who hopefully will be competitive next year. Fingers crossed. Doing the Henry Rowengarten Rookie of the Year game at Wrigley, because that's where that movie takes place, is at Wrigley Field. It's the movie's called Rookie of the Year. It's basically the story of this like 12-year-old kid who is in the stands, catches a ball, throws it, goes to throw it back onto the field, and has a super strong arm, so he throws it all the way from the bleachers, like the outfield bleachers, to home plate on the fly. And it's basically like Mike, where they're like, cool, we need to sign this kid because he just threw that ball 350 feet on a rope.
I was going to say, what about Angels in the outfield, Chris? Oh, wait, they do that every single time already.
But those would be really cool. Those would be really cool moments too. I know that next year, I think they're planning currently on doing the game in London, like they were able to do pre-pandemic.
Okay, like at Wimbledon or something.
Yeah, and last year the London game was supposed to be actually going to be the Cubs and Cardinals, but obviously, middle of a pandemic, they couldn't pick up and travel to London and come back. So,
ain't nobody wants to see the Cubs over there now.
Not really. They just lost again to the Marlins tonight, 14-10. They made it close, but
yeah, I saw that. It's kind of crazy.
Well, they gave up 11 runs in the second inning, so yay. Anyway, But yeah, that's the biggest piece of this time's MLB update. It's just the Field of Dreams game, and then how cool that was. Toddeh, I actually do want to ask you, as a relative non-baseball fan, how did you feel about the Field of Dreams game?
I loved it.
resonate
I
with
loved
you?
everything about it.
Okay.
Like the entire like aesthetic about it was cool, but I think also that has to do with the fact it was like a minor league park. So it's more like you see everything, you know where everything is. Also, I feel like the park was a lot smaller than a regular baseball field. So like it was closer to get home runs, which is why they had so many home runs this game. Or maybe they juiced the balls, like everyone said in the sports betting chats. They're gonna juice the balls, so this game is great for TV, which I have no idea what that means. So
basically, the long and short of juicing the ball is you just kind of, the simplest way I can put it is when you juice a ball, you just make it easier for the batter to hit it farther.
Okay, so like they put something in the ball or make it lighter or something like that.
You doctor the ball a little bit so that when contact is made, contact is almost always universally just harder. So he's going to hit it farther, whether it's on the ground. It's going to come off his bat harder.
Yeah, so it's
that's
like
the point.
Hollow ball or something like that.
So what you'll hear a lot, Toddeh, is juicing the ball better for the batter, deadening the ball better for the pitcher. So it's the opposite effect.
Okay.
When they deaden the ball, it makes it, you get less solid contact, less
juice the ball
contact.
for high profile games, dead the ball for playoffs. Got it.
Exactly. Pretty much. So, and I mean, baseball basically admitted to deadening the ball, like coming into this season, because the home run numbers and stuff have been so ridiculous the last couple of years that they didn't admit to juicing the balls, but they admitted to deadening the balls and altering the balls for this season to try to combat those numbers. So,
what BS?
So the question is, if this is neutral, did they really juice the balls previously? And then if so, when they say they deadened them, did they deaden them back to where they were? Yeah. Or did they never juice the balls and deaden them to what we haven't seen before? So who knows? But yeah, those are the two things that you'll hear. So if you hear juicing the ball, it's for more runs, more offense, harder contact. Deadening the ball is the opposite effect. Less solid contact, less distance on fly balls and things like that. So less home runs, less runs. Do I think they might have done that just to make sure there was a good chunk of offense? It's possible. That game would, again, not have been as aesthetically pleasing to the casual non-baseball fan if it had been a 1-0, 2-0 pitcher's duel. So, I think what was more likely is especially because I don't know what the dimensions of the park were. It probably was shorter than a typical field. My guess is it was probably like 330 on the corners and then like 360 to dead center.
Yeah.
Or 370 to dead center maybe. Whereas I'd say your average ballpark is like 350 to 360 in the corners and about 400 to dead center. So it probably was a bit smaller than that, just again to make it a little easier to generate some offense. And yeah, I mean, everybody should have known going into that game, like, we want to see home runs hit into the cornfield. Like, that's what I want to see.
I want to see Kevin Costner. That's it.
I would love to see the home run derby played at the Field of Dreams field, just into the cornfield, just 1,000 baseballs into the cornfield. But yeah, do I hope they continue to do these kind of recreation, iconic, whatever you want to call them, games? Absolutely.
They do it every time for the Angels games at home, Chris. What do you want for them?
Hush. So, hush. Yeah, I mean, I think
the Cleveland Indians do the same thing.
Hey, you're talking about the Guardians. They're not the Indians anymore.
My bad. You're right.
So, anyway, that's our MLB update. Yes, the Cubs are terrible. They are on a losing streak. 9 games now. We'll give Michael we'll make Michael happy. Give me 2 seconds.
Hey, don't worry. The Reds are good, guys.
Yeah, that's that. I'm gonna go look at the standings actually to see how.
Except they were up against the Braves 2 games ago.
Mm.
And then they lost in the 11th inning. After I had placed a bet on them, they lost when they were a 2-run lead.
It's too funny. They are in, so give Michael a little shout out. His Reds are in second place in the National League Central. They have won 4 straight. No, I'm sorry. They have won 2 straight. And there's 7.5 games behind the Brewers, who are comfortably ahead in that division. So, it is what it is. So Cubs are 19 games out. So anytime they want to turn it around, it'll be good for them. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I know my Cubs are out of it, but it is still going to be a fun season to watch out. The National League West is terrifying because you're going to have 3 playoff teams from that division. San Francisco has just been the story of the season, coming kind of out of nowhere. No one expected them really to compete with the Dodgers and Padres in that division. And right now, in mid-August, they've got a 5-game lead over the Dodgers and a 10-game lead over the Padres.
Because they stole your boy.
So that's just crazy stuff. But so, you kind of expect both National League wildcard teams to come out of the National League West. So if you're a member of the National League East or the Central, your eyes have to be set on winning that division. The East is in a deadlock right now with 3 teams. The Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets are only separated by half a game right now for first place in that division. So that's going to be fun to watch shake out over the next month and a half. The Central, Milwaukee is, I think, far and away the best team in that division. They've got a 7.5 game lead right now. And Christian Yelich is, coming off of COVID protocols in the IL, and he's been struggling this year. And the Brewers have still stood pat and are holding a comfortable division lead. So congrats to them for putting together a good season. The American League's a lot of fun too. Tampa Bay's got a 5-game lead over the Boston Red Sox in the East. The White Sox are cruising in the Central. They have an 11-game lead over the second place Cleveland Indians. Houston out west.
Cleveland Guardians, Chris. Lead. Come on.
Fair. So sorry. The Astros have a 2.5-game lead right now over the Athletics. So that's a lot of fun. But the A's are on. They're 8-2 in their last 10. So they're coming back.
Come on, A's.
So, I mean, you've got some fun stuff that's going to shake out, I think, this season. And we're going to see, and again, playoff baseball is a beast in and of itself. So we'll keep you tuned with all of that stuff. Toddeh, let's get this thing wrapped up. Let's get some picks of the week in. Why don't you go ahead and start us off? What's catching your eye this week, bud?
I'm going to go NFL preseason.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win over the Houston Texans. Why? Because the Houston Texans are garbage.
Wow, you really stuck your neck out there on that one, huh?
I know, it's a very difficult thing.
Well,
Packers are favorite, obviously.
I also am going to be I'm just excited about the NFL preseason, so I'm going to be looking at that this weekend as well. This Sunday. I am going with the Indianapolis Colts over the Carolina Panthers. I think, I think we'll see a lot of good stuff from the rookies. I'm excited to see, Michael Straken and I can't think of the tight end's name either, but they got a couple of offensive pieces that I'm excited to see rookie wise. I'm curious to see if guys like Marlon Mack are going to get kind of a significant chunk of playing time. Just because, especially Matt, when you're talking about Mack, he's not really a starter.
Probably a quarter.
But it's he's not a starter, but he's not also a bench role player or obviously a rookie or anything like that. So he'll get some just to get his legs going. And I think especially they're going to keep him on kind of a pitch count because he is coming back off of that ACL injury.
True.
So they're obviously not going to overwork him, but I'm excited to see him back in a Colts uniform running and making plays, man. People forget he's a 1,000-yard rusher. So people overlook him. They were real quick to forget about him when he went down, but thank God the Colts are smarter than all of us and saw that know that he still has very, very significant value. So anyway, I'm excited to watch these new Colts take on the Panthers. And yeah, I think they'll get the very meaningless preseason win.
It's not meaningless, Chris. It matters. Colts never win the preseason games. That's why Jim Irsay always got mad at us.
Also true. That is also true.
We're doing horrible in the preseason. This is garbage, guys. Come on, you gotta pick it up.
My favorite.
Irsay. What do you want from us?
My favorite NFL preseason fact: the year that the Lions went 0-16 in the regular season, they went 4-0 in the preseason.
God damn it, Lions.
It's my favorite. Just hilarious. Just how does that even happen? How do you win all of your preseason games and then can't?
Because the preseason doesn't matter, Chris.
Exactly. That's
People
always
bet on it still.
Yeah, because y'all are crazy. Y'all will bet on anything.
Stupid.
Yeah, y'all will bet on rock, paper, scissors if you could.
1 out of 3 chance, Chris, to see what are they gonna pull? What's the winner's gonna pull? It's gotta be rock.
All right. Well, before Toddeh goes on, loses his mind, let's wrap this sucker up. Shout out Michael when he wakes up and sees this tomorrow. Hilarious stuff. So he will be back. We'll be full strength next week. And thanks again for tuning in. And this has been the MCT podcast. Toddeh, for Toddeh Manukian, I am Chris Simmons. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next time.